And welcome to a brand new episode of the KickOut. It's January the 31st, and we haven't done an episode since January the 1st. Hey, everybody, I go by the name of Skillet.
My name is Mex.
He's been
I'm Tay.
Oh, there you go. I'm Ace.
Welcome back, Ace. Welcome back. You've been gone for God knows how long. You're back from the road of recovery. You're back from injury. You were sidelined. And now you are back. The big return. You had the number 10 countdown went off and the crowd went wild and Ace had returned. But we also have another 10 entry has come in and a secret surprise entrant. We've got from TalkSport, Alex McCarthy.
Hey, yo, it's about time I got invited here, man. What's going on?
This is what happened ages ago, eons ago, and we finally got you on the pod. Alex, thank you for joining us today. How are you, my brother?
I'm very good, mate. My daughter is making requests of me as we speak, so I'm trying to give her the shoe eyes, but she's too young to know the shoe eyes, I think. So, it's upstairs. God.
Alex, you should take a page from Shawn Michaels' book and give her the sweet check.
Wow! Get out of here. But no, man, I'm good, thank you. Good weekend of covering the wrestling. Well, I say it was a good weekend covering it. The wrestling wasn't, yeah. But either way, excited to be joined by so many people that I admire and like. So yeah, man, let's get into it.
Thank you, Alex. I mean, I don't know if you've ever met Tay before. So Tay, Alex, Tay.
I haven't.
Tay. Good. All right. I mean, before we talk about Royal Rumble, which is what is the main show about today. Ace, how are you, man? How are you feeling? You know, you're away for
good.
You bounced back.
Yes.
And, are you ready for new wrestling content, or are you still a bit? Yeah.
Yeah. For those that don't know, I've been away because I had a kidney transplant in October, so I've just been at home recovering, and I'm good. I'm outside now. I had to isolate for 3 months. And I went back to work 2 weeks ago. I'm good, man. I'm feeling great. Kidney's working well. I'm pissing a lot. So we have to swear on this podcast? I've forgotten how it goes. But yeah, I'm in the toilet every 20 minutes, and that's a good thing because when your kidney doesn't work, that doesn't happen. So that's good. I'm great. I'm really good, man. I've been at home watching a lot of wrestling, which is not necessarily a great thing. But I've been doing it all the same.
I noticed how you said you never said a lot of good wrestling. Man, just said, I'm watching wrestling.
So have you been doing both shows, Ace?
I have, I have. I felt like there was obviously I'm sitting in the house. I feel like I clocked Netflix within week number 2. I finished all the shows. I was done. It was like I don't think anyone's clocked. I actually clocked it. It was finished.
You clocked Netflix.
I clocked it. I actually clocked it. And so then I was like, what else do I watch? And the main you guys know I'm WWE, and I was watching that, and it was at the time it was really October. What was going on in October? I can't remember. It was just bad. It was really bad. And so then I started watching AEW, and I went back, and I'm really enjoying AEW actually.
Did you enjoy that Cody Rhodes, Sammy Guevara?
Amazing match. Very sick match. One of the best ladder matches I've ever seen.
Yeah, very good match. 100%.
100%.
All right. And Alex, man, you're from the TalkSport world, and you got your own wrestling podcast. You be doing your thing. I mean, for some people you must be under a rock if you don't know who Alex McCarthy is. But if people who don't know, who are listening to KickOut, how did you end up, getting that job? And what's your love of wrestling like? And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. I mean, first of all, I fell in love with wrestling when I was about 8, I think. About 96, 97 was when I got into it. So obviously as a kid to kind of then walk into that Attitude Era was the one. Yeah. It was the best. What a time to be alive that was. But in terms of a career, like any wrestling fan, I was addicted to The Rock as a kid. The Rock was my guy. So when he left, I kind of was like, you know what? And I left it for a little bit. And then when I got to university, I got back into it. And I think I left it again for a year or two when I left university. I don't think I had Sky. I was broke. And then obviously I got back into it again about 2011, and I've just stayed. But people will say, how did you become a wrestling journalist? That's kind of a buzzword. I don't think it's really a thing. I was a sports journalist, is what I went to university, college, and got all the degrees for. I've covered all different sports, right? Like boxing, UFC. I've just been blessed enough to have the opportunities to cover wrestling, which obviously I love. So really, it's just kind of like two passions of mine that have been able to mesh that I really didn't believe that they would, but the opportunities just kind of kept coming. And when I was working for Give Me Sport, I was an NBA writer for them. That's how I broke in there. And then again, just the chances kept coming to. I think we had a chance to interview Sheamus, and I was like, "Does anybody want to interview Sheamus? Who the hell is this guy?" I was like, "I'll take Sheamus. Like, give it to me." And I think like him and the Big Show were the first interviews that I ever did, and that was 2016. And it's just kept rolling, man. Like I did that for about 2 or 3 years, to the point where that was just my job at Give Me Sport. It wasn't like a side thing anymore. It was like I was the WWE editor. And then I went to New Orleans for WrestleMania 34, second Mania that I've been to. But at this one, I met some guys from TalkSport. Didn't realize how important that would be until about 6 months later. They were like, you know what, we're trying to grow the website, and we really need somebody who knows their stuff about like combat sports, like UFC, boxing, and WWE. And I was like, oh, cool. And before I got there, I think they'd done like 30,000 clicks or something, and then just through me, actually writing stories, because they weren't really doing it before, we had like 13 million clicks the next year, from 30,000 to 30 mil. So TalkSport were like, "Oh, maybe we should make a show about this." I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So that was how the argument started to get it on air. Do you know what I mean? I was like, "Look, there clearly is an audience for wrestling in the UK," which again is like a battle I feel like all of us have been having forever, right? Like to show people that there is people who are interested, man. So yeah, it's kind of just gone strength to strength that way. And same thing with TalkSport, like, and having the show, all the interviews I've been able to do. And I went to Survivor Series a few months ago, man. Like, so lucky to be able to combine my job with the one of the things I love the most in the world. It's still wild. It still gets me sometimes. I don't really know. I didn't map this shit out.
That's beautiful though, man. That's I think, with the aid of social media and so many things, so many new jobs has come out of nowhere. I'm not to say that sports journalism wasn't, well, especially wrestling, it was obviously a thing, but it was still very taboo. You kind of have to be kind of self-sufficient. You got to do your own thing, publish your own magazines and whatnot. Now, you know what I mean? Now with social media, there's a lot of space for that. And I feel like people could be themselves a bit more as well. I think back in the day, it was a bit taboo to like wrestling, or it was a bit taboo to like show that you like comic books and stuff like that. Now, nobody cares.
Honestly, I played football at like a decent level. Like I played about 2 divisions below the conference. Like I got paid to play.
Oh, baller, yeah. Okay.
What? I say that to say this is that
right back.
No. I'm in the engine room, brother. Give me I'm the 8 dog.
Okay.
But I'd say that to say this, man. Like football was my first love. So like when I'm telling my boys I'm going to cover WrestleMania, or like I'm doing wrestling, a lot of them were like, "Really? Yeah. Like for real? That's what you're wrestling?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. Like, I've never hid it, or but at the same time, I guess read the room. I'm not going to shout it from the rooftops in like the changing room with the boys who aren't really into it or whatever." It's just one of them things that a lot of people were like, "Oh, I didn't really think you would go down that route," but again, to me, it's brought me some of the greatest memories and stuff in my life. So what am I?
Well, you're living out your dream, bro. That's one thing they will respect. Like, I think all of us, all 5 of us in this room, probably have all experienced that. When you mention the love for wrestling, or you don't mention it, you might showcase it on your social media or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, you're into wrestling." But at the end of the day, when they realize that you're actually really into your wrestling and you grew up watching it, and you're interviewing the people that you idolize watching, like they're like, well, they can't not respect that. You know what I mean?
Say something. Say something.
It's like, damn, I have to respect that. Like, you're living your dream. So,
Skillet, can I just quickly say, Alex went to New Orleans Mania and got a job with TalkSport. We went to New Orleans and got drunk. That's it. That's all we did. That's all we did.
Listen, hand grenades were had. Hand grenades were had. That was that. Listen, Bourbon Street is a wild place.
Amazing. It was amazing.
I also remember the opportunity when I went to Brooklyn for SummerSlam, and I think there was some like other media outlets that were really interested in me. But what I did instead was went to a bar called McMahon's and chopped wrestling fans and put them on figure 4 leg locks while screaming, "Woo!" It was good time.
I went to McMahon's before Survivor Series.
Right.
It's good.
Right. So you go. It's a great place. We watched McGregor versus Diaz in McMahon.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
I went to that was the second time I've been to New York. The first time I went was for SummerSlam 17. I want to say 2017, maybe the one where the four-way main event, which was
I was
amazing.
there. That's the one I was at. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, that like before that one. So I went on as part of a trip for 2K, and they like had this like release party in like just somewhere in New York. I fuck knows where, but Snoop Dogg was the DJ.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg was DJ next to Sasha Banks. Yeah. I was at the party. I think we met at that party, Alex.
We must have done.
Party, you know?
I was lit up, but yes, we must have done.
That's the
but I was standing there. They done like this red carpet, interviewed a bunch of people. Like Snoop Dogg's on like DJing and shit. I was like, what is this? What is this? What? Yeah, there you go. You can't.
I vividly remember because that same red carpet you're talking about, Alex. Sheamus was walking through, and you know how they have their agents with them that kind of ushers them along.
Yeah.
They could ask maybe 1 or 2 questions, whatever. Anyway, Sheamus recognized me from an interview I did the year prior, and he was like, "Oh, what's going on, Skillet?" And I was like, "Oh man, we're losing because he's a Liverpool. We're both Liverpool fans, isn't it?" So I was like, "We're losing." And then the agent was like to Sheamus, "Okay, we got to move on." He goes, No. Who are we losing to? We just started chatting about Liverpool. I remember that was very funny. But yeah, no, good times, man. And hey, Ace, we need to speak to WWE this year, man. We need to get back on the road with them again, man.
Yeah,
Dallas.
Dallas, maybe. Who knows?
Got to be Mania, man. All 5 of us in here got to be at Mania this year. All of us. All right, let's talk about, I guess, the Royal Rumble. Mex.
Yo.
You're the man. You're the man that got all the data. Can you please tell us more information about this year's Royal Rumble and all the matches and whatnot, so we could dissect how we feel?
So, the Royal Rumble from St. Louis, Missouri, 45 or so thousand in attendance, so pretty good for I guess second biggest show of the year. Opened up. And I believe, I don't know if you guys heard this, but I believe before the show started, it said they were going to open up with Lesnar versus Lashley. Yeah. But then they opened up. Yeah. And then they opened up with Reigns versus Rollins. So as a massive Reigns fan, I was immediately panicked. I was thinking, is this a guy about to lose his title? Obviously, we saw his kind of grandioso entrance. And then we saw the marvel of Seth Rollins entering as a Shield member, 2015, Seth Rollins, through the crowd, mind games continuing, of course, you know, him kind of telling the whole story of this is that, you know, you're nothing without me, I created you and all this kind of stuff. And with him being Seth Rollins Shield, but dressed as the Shield, Seth Rollins, but with the current character of his ways, it was just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, he was loving it. He was in his element. He was enjoying it. Like, I think that was a great choice to open Royal Rumble. Like, it is. I think it is reconfirmed. I mean, we all know how much of a star Reigns is and how much of a star Seth is, but it really reconfirmed it for me. That reaction they got as that being the first match, like them two were the stars. And I just wish Seth had his blonde streak though. I was missing that.
I would have been that. That would have been
good.
That close to perfect.
I know, for real. Yeah.
Put on what was a really decent match, the two of them. But it all came to a head, I guess, when Roman Reigns locked in the guillotine, didn't release Seth Rollins. I think, what was it? Charles Robinson went to check if he was still alive, dropped his hand on the bottom rope. So basically he helped him, and then Roman still didn't release it. So he had to be disqualified. And then, he held it in for a bit longer. And then he went and got the chair, basically mirroring, you know, the whole breakup of the Shield in the first place. Vicious chair attack. Reigns retains the title because the title can't change by disqualification, but Rollins wins the match. I wasn't happy that the match finished, you know, the opening match finished in the DQ. But I guess Reigns still had unfinished business on the night. So, how did you guys feel about this first one?
Let's go with Tay first. Tay, what did you think of this match?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Like, it was great storytelling, and I loved that he, like you said, Mex, that he kept his current character just kind of dressed as the Shield. I thought that was really good.
Have we lost Tay?
Might have some connection problems there. We'll come back to you, Tay.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Sorry, it's cutting out a bit. My internet.
Got it
again.
So yeah, I was saying, I was a little bit worried at the beginning because of Roman's wrestling style has got a bit slower, and Seth is quite a fast-paced wrestler. So I wasn't sure how that was going to pan out, but
it actually panned out quite good.
The big guy in the match, and they were still kind of one-upping each other at some point. Yeah, I just thought it was really good. Love the storytelling. Loved it.
Alex, man, do you ever get bored of a Seth and Reigns match?
No, not at all. Look, I've always loved Seth, right? Like, even, you know what I mean? Even when people were like turning on him after the babyface title run and the Fiend debacle, I was like, nah, man, it's not him. Like, that guy is still great, and I get it that some people don't like his tweets, but I'm a Rollins guy. I rate him. But this period of him and Reigns has really like reinvigorated like my love for Rollins, if that makes sense. Like his character work and the way they found a way to penetrate the like steely character of Roman Reigns, because no one's really touched him. 500 days, no one's really come close or shaking him or dethroning him. And like Steph is the first guy that could actually get in his head and do something. So I loved it. I thought the match was electric until the finish. Like, if that had a real finish, either way, I think we'll be talking about it as a classic. The same way we talk about, like, I don't know, Rollins, Lesnar, and Cena, the triple threat years ago, and Styles, Cena, you would have put it in that band. But that finish is normally for something where it's a chapter and you're going somewhere else. But we know Seth and Roman is not the WrestleMania plan. We know this. It's Lesnar and Roman. So, man, I'm not totally sure what the deal is. And if it is just a typical trademark WWE trying to keep everybody strong, brother, that leaves me a bit like deflated of something that could have been great.
Ace, did you enjoy this one?
I thought it was an excellent match. I think, like, I'm just going to echo what everyone else said. I think the Seth coming to the ring as the Shield with the Shield attire was genius. Alex is right. He's been the only person that's really been able to get into his head. I hated the finish, man. I really did. And I think watching it, you'd watch it and just think, okay, this is just an opportunity for Reigns to get his win back. Like Seth keeps saying it, you've never beat me one-on-one. You've never beat me. You've never beat me. You've never beat me when it matters. So this was the opportunity to. So why did we not just get that win so that we can move them on to what we know they're going to do for WrestleMania? So
I personally feel not this year. Alex is right. It's going to be Reigns and Lesnar. We all know that. But
we know that.
I personally feel that a WrestleMania match will take place between Seth and Reigns one day.
It needs to.
Yeah, it will.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think they're saving that victory for that, or possibly not. Maybe Seth will win. I don't know, but I think they want to. I think they want to save a epic, glorious match between them two at WrestleMania.
Let me ask you this quick, right? Do you think that they're flipping Seth? Is Seth going baby?
He might, because the crowd loves him. Like when he comes out with that theme song and he's doing all the dancing and the singing, the crowd are going, they're singing along, they're loving it. Obviously, everybody loves Seth anyway, regardless of heel or face. I could see a face turn, definitely.
The part of that question, though, is that at day one, if Meltzer's to be believed, right, Seth was meant to win. Before Lesnar got in, Seth was meant to be the WWE champ. Now, Lashley's the champ. So if WWE tried to get back on course, I mean, who knows what that is at this point, right? It's changed so much. But if they do, then presumably Seth and Lashley are kind of destined for each other at Mania, or at least involved in the same match. To do that, would you not flip Seth? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Like, if
is Lashley a heel though?
Good
I saw Lashley slapping hands and like getting involved with like, what's going on? Does he know what he is? I saw Lashley really interact with fans.
Heel ever. He's not high-fiving babies, you know.
Babies, like, what's going on?
I just wonder.
He doesn't know. He has no idea.
You guys. Yeah, I agree. I think he's supposed to be a heel.
He doesn't know. I don't think he knows.
It's hard to tell because obviously
he's got a heel manager, but he's acting like a face.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It is weird.
I don't know.
Hurt Business. Hopefully they'll cost him the title at Mania. We need some storytelling with Cedric and
forget it. It's gone.
It's done. All right, okay. It wasn't even a Royal Rumble match. None of them was in the Royal Rumble match, so yeah, they're done. All right, Max, what was the next match, please?
So the next match was the Women's Royal Rumble.
Oh yes.
Always interesting, the Women's Rumble, because it's kind of still new to us. There's like not a lot of history behind it. I was a bit low on this going into it because they seem to like announce everyone but like 5 positions, I think, or something like that. We saw Sasha Banks come in and start the Rumble.
Just the Sailor Moon.
Yeah. For the anime fans, I think they should have just kept her, like the what she was involved with in SmackDown the night before. They should have just kept her to enter the Royal Rumble as a surprise. I don't see why they kind of, brought her out on SmackDown. But yeah, she entered number 1, and then we saw Melina. Mm-hmm. So Melina coming back, which popped a lot of fans. Other kind of notable names that were in it and the legends, and that was Kelly. We saw Liv Morgan come in and she had a pretty good showing. Bianca Belair came in number 8 and I think was the Iron Woman of this match. She stayed in the match for over 45 minutes, right down to maybe, was she final 4? Final 5 or so, maybe?
Final 4, yeah.
Final 4.
Yeah.
Her, Liv and Natty were the 3 that were in the longest. I saw some graphic for that.
Yeah. So, she's done pretty good. Liv Morgan as well had a good showing. We saw Michelle McCool in. Sonya Deville came in as well. Cameron, which was a big surprise to see.
I called Cameron. I was trolling. I said Cameron and Stone Cold was going to show up. But
I did see something some months back that Cameron had kind of been lobbying for a return to WWE. So
right, okay.
It's not really, it's good to see her. She didn't spend long in the Rumble. I would have liked if she was in the Rumble long enough for Naomi, who then came out, straight after her. There was a bit of interaction between those two on the outside. Sonya Deville costed Cameron. Naomi then eliminated Sonya Deville, and then I think when Charlotte Flair was in the ring and went to eliminate Naomi, Sonya got the assist and pulled her out the ring. So yeah, that feud continues, although it should really be finished by now. Charlotte Flair, the champion, entered at 17. We saw Ivory, I think, entered after Charlotte Flair.
I love that.
She was really good.
So good to see Ivory. So good to see Ivory.
I know this has been said by everyone, but I can't believe she's 60. Like,
I was just about to say, yeah.
60.
Wow.
Wild.
Yeah.
She kept herself in good condition all those years, man. Still in good shape.
She looked good. She cut a promo all the way down to the ring, talking about the modesty of the women involved in the Rumble. Brilliant, as she's, in her no right to censor gear and everything. So, and then Rhea Ripley eliminated her while she was still cutting her promo.
Yeah, that was
so yeah, that was pretty well done.
That theme song.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Yeah, just straight alarms.
Brie Bella entered, obviously yes chance and everything that comes with it. Mickie James entered with the Impact Knockouts Championship, which was
man. That's historic, man. Amazing.
I was very happy that she came with the title because that was always going to be the sticking point. And then the lower third and all sorts, they said Impact Women's Champion.
Mm-hmm.
So they're well on the way to maybe making that apology for everything that happened with her dismissal, I guess. Yeah. And she was in the Rumble for a decent amount of time. Alicia Fox returned as well. We saw Nikki ASH in the Rumble. Summer Rae made a return. Did you guys see what she shouted on her way to the ring? Okay, cool.
What'd she say? I didn't know that. I didn't catch that.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I think she was running down to the ring and she said, "Fuck you, Natty."
Wow.
Natalia was in the ring.
She said "fuck you" at the apex though as she walked past the camera. Do you know what I mean? Couldn't have been louder. Yeah, it's great.
She's selling their beef from Total Divas all those years ago. So yeah, keeping it consistent, I guess. Nikki Bella entered, and then we saw Sarah Logan. Very emotional between her and Liv Morgan. But I don't think Sarah Logan was in the Rumble for too long at all. Lita entered, which we knew was going to happen. Molly Holly was also in the Rumble. She got blindsided by Nikki ASH before she entered the ring, because clearly there's only room for one superhero.
I love that. I'll tell you now, because Tay watched it at mine on Saturday, and we love that spot.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that spot.
It's good. Nikki ASH is adding a bit of dimension to this character, so it's decent. Then we saw number 28, the return of Ronda Rousey. We'd heard the rumors all week long. She entered. Thoughts on her gear, guys? It wasn't the usual, the Roddy Piper inspired gear. That's why I say
she's come back different now, isn't it? She's not kissing ass anymore. She's not trying to be like, hey, I was a wrestling fan growing up. She's not going to do none of that anymore. She's just fed up. I think she's fed up of wrestling in general, and she's just there for the money, and that's what she's doing. Did
you see the promo after?
I did.
Yeah,
that was very crazy.
She was like, I'm not going to fall for it again. All that stuff, basically saying fuck the fans.
Yeah.
pretty much.
She was giving the journalists a hard time, man. She's like, so why did you choose the Royal Rumble? Why did I choose the Royal Rumble? Why wouldn't I choose the Royal Rumble? What kind of question is that? That's not. And she said something else. She's like, that's not a question. That's a statement.
It's a statement.
Yeah, she's like, well, all right, Randy, man. Randy, I don't really like Randy. I'm honest with you.
I think it's that time of year where you bring your big guns back in it. So I'm here for it. Shotzi came out 29, then Shayna Baszler came out 30th. I only wish they actually cared about Shayna Baszler, but they clearly put her in here just because Ronda was here. But and it's pretty academic, I guess. Once Ronda Rousey enters the Rumble, her Charlotte were the last two, eliminating Charlotte, winning the Rumble, overstretching when it comes to that WrestleMania point, which she loves doing, and it looks like, main event probably night one of WrestleMania is Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. What do you guys think of the Rumble?
I think it might be. I think it'll be night two. No,
it'll be Becky Lynch.
I think it'll be Becky. I think it'll be Becky Lynch.
It should be Becky Lynch.
It will be Becky Lynch,
but it's not Becky Lynch. It ain't gonna be Becky Lynch.
It's Becky Lynch, bro.
Who's Charlotte gonna face?
Charlotte's gonna face Lita.
God forbid.
Lita.
We're forgetting about Asuka's coming back soon.
And what are you gonna do with Sasha?
Sasha is gonna. Unfortunately, she should be in a championship match, but she never is. It's annoying.
Sasha will get her first ever WrestleMania victory over Liv Morgan.
I can't believe that you think it's Charlotte. It's not Charlotte.
I pray to God it's Becky. It needs to be Becky.
It's Becky. She needs to get a win back.
The only reason we're all sitting here saying Charlotte is because Meltzer says it. So let's not he's the one who put that report out. But I've said this on a million times. The two biggest matches you could possibly make in wrestling today, one is Rock and Reigns and the other is Lynch and Rousey. That's it. That is it. Right?
Match.
If I don't know if they're saving both of those for Hollywood next year, but if you've got, but at the same time, like when you had Austin and Hogan, right, in 2002, and they went, you know what, we'll do Hogan and Rock first, and Bruce Pritchard has said they thought, you know what, we'll get to Austin and Hogan later, and they never did.
Yeah.
Partly because Austin didn't want to. But the point remains, if you've got Lynch and Rousey on the table here now, do it.
I'm with you, Alex. But you're right. But you just gave a great example why they're gonna probably delay it. And the same thing, they thought the whole Sting thing, they thought, we'll do Sting Triple H first, and then we'll get on eventually to Sting Taker.
Don't worry about Taker.
Yeah. Don't worry that he's 60, and don't worry about that. Yeah.
I think they'll do it this year because Becky Lynch still has an ongoing story with Bianca Belair. And
Don't make out WWE. Don't make out WWE. You've gone. We would do it, mate, but we've already done this with Bianca Belair. They don't care.
No, I think they're gonna do Bianca Belair versus Becky at WrestleMania.
I think so, and I hope that Bianca avenges that and gets the victory and all of that great stuff. But I think there'd be far more to do with, I don't know, what Charlotte or Ronda wants rather than them go, we've got the story going with Bianca. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see WWE.
You're right.
having that
The match
forte.
should be Becky versus Ronda. That's what it should be.
It
But
definitely should be, because Becky was robbed of that in 2019. She was robbed.
But and that's the problem, though. You know how they rate Charlotte Flair. Like, so if the big shot comes in, Charlotte Flair gets her. And that's all I'm saying. Like,
it's just weird to me, man. And it's so biased, like so blatantly biased for Charlotte. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I said it last time. Charlotte is bad vibes. I don't like it.
Yeah, she is bad vibes.
Proper bad vibes.
Guys, I've got to love you and leave you. I might be able to join after, but I got to check. I've got a meeting quickly. But...
All right, Ace. Hopefully you can
go.
Right,
In a bit.
Great to see you, brother.
So, I mean, entertaining match. The Women's Royal Rumble was very entertaining. I really enjoyed it. Alex, did you enjoy this match?
Yeah, I did. It was the better of the Rumbles, I thought. The women's one was the better one of the two. We kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier. Like, a bugbear of mine is the Rumble was a great opportunity to make people, right? I don't feel like Ronda Rousey or Brock Lesnar need the Rumble to get to the matches they're getting to.
They don't.
But none. At least with the last 2 years, right? So I was at 2020 and Charlotte won it, and it was kind of like, okay. But Drew won it, and it was kind of like, his next step to the main event team, and he did feel like he made it as a main event player.
Yeah, 100.
Next year.
Yeah.
The next year, right? We had Edge. Okay, it's the fairy tale story. But we had Bianca, and again, for the same thing. Next step for her to get this year, we've just got two people that are already stars, so it's kind of like, And exactly as Mex was explaining it. Once Rousey was in, it was like, okay, well, that's the suspense over, isn't it? Like, she's winning. But what I will say for this match, it did have like several interactions and moments where I was really invested into what was going to happen. Whether it played out exactly as I liked or not, there was enough for me to really be invested into this match. So, yeah, man, I think the women did it better this year.
One thing I will say, Tay, you did call this, didn't you? You said that Ronda Rousey was going to come back and win it. So big up to Tay on that prediction. Mex, what was the next match, please?
The next match on the card, we had the women's championship match, Royal Women's championship match, Becky Lynch versus Doudrop. So apparently we had this melting WrestleMania sign, which might have obviously, skewed some people's perception of this match, and obviously taken the live crowd out of it a bit. But yeah, when the pyro went off, when Ronda won the Rumble, it started melting the WrestleMania sign, so they had to clear the area out, remove the WrestleMania sign and all this kind of stuff, and put it back up again. Other than that, I thought this was a pretty good match. I've watched it back. Watching it live, I think I was taken out a bit again, but I've watched it back and I thought this was a really good match. Doudrop, I don't like calling her Doudrop, but yeah, Piper Niven. She's a very good wrestler. She's a very good wrestler. Becky Lynch is obviously very good. I could hear at times, even when the whole distraction was happening, Becky Lynch is shouting, I'm so lit, like I set the WrestleMania sign on fire and all this kind of stuff. So Becky's proper living her character, and she's brilliant at it. How the match ended, I can't remember the name of the move that Doudrop does from the turnbuckle, like this kind of
the buns.
Yeah. And then Becky caught her up there, manhandle slam from the second rope. And yeah, that was it. Got the win. Yeah, got the win. Retained the Raw Women's Championship, which I'm probably sure we all saw coming. So yeah.
I have to say, I was a bit harsh on this match while I was watching it live. I was a bit harsh because I just felt that there was times where the match could have been wrapped up nicely, like in terms of timing. I felt it kind of dragged on a bit, but actually, on hindsight, it actually wasn't a bad match at all, actually. And there were some good spots, some good, good back and forth between the two. And I guess it kind of worked out, to be honest. I just probably was being a bit I think after the whole excitement of the Royal Rumble match, and then you see a match that you don't really care about, you're a bit but it actually wasn't a bad match. Tay, what did you think?
Yeah, no, it was good. I think they showcased Piper Niven quite well in it. Yeah, I think it just was a little bit down just because it was after the Royal Rumble, but it was a decent match. Becky did well, and like you said, played her character. Piper Niven, not Doudrop, did well. Where she goes from there, I don't really know.
Alex, where do you think she goes from here? What do you think is the next thing for Doudrop?
I don't know, man. Like it's WrestleMania season. We were talking about the women earlier. Like, okay, let's say Ronda goes Charlotte, and you say Bianca has got Becky, and then it's like, what do you do with Sasha? And are legends coming back? Is Bayley going to be back in time? Like, it screams that she's probably going to end up in a battle royal if they do it. But I thought this match was really good for what it was. Right, like Becky was in no danger. Nobody believed Becky was going to get dethroned, right? And those matches you can telegraph from a mile away are the hardest to get people invested in and to get them to care about. But when you actually watched it, there was like 3 or 4 really good spots in there that I thought, this is a decent match. And again, since Becky's been back, I feel like it's the strongest stretch she's had in ring. She's had good matches with virtually everyone. And I thought this did the job again. Wasn't going to be the all-conquering show stealer, but it was good.
All right. Next, what was the next match, please?
So after this match, we got Brock Lesnar, WWE champion, defending against Bobby Lashley. Great video package. I think it's a video package they had put out on Raw a couple of weeks back. Absolutely great video package showing how both guys are equal. Basically, very similar careers. The match started, we got the usual kind of test of strength spots. Both men kind of just bouncing off each other, no one getting the upper hand on each other. But eventually, Lesnar kind of took control of this match. Mm-hmm. If my count is correct, I've got he got six suplexes, German suplexes to Bobby Lashley's 1. So he was very much in control here. In
my opinion, as he should be. No offense to Lashley.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. I'll voice my opinion in a minute, but keep going.
We'll get there. We had a ref bump off the back of an F5. And from that minute forward, you knew shenanigans are gonna run. We saw the emergence of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns came out and remind me, did he hit Lesnar with a chair first before he went over to Heyman?
So he came out
spear first.
Spear Lesnar first. Then looked at Heyman. Extended his hand out to Heyman. And then Heyman does that classic Paul Heyman switch up when he does, like he did to Lesnar back in Survivor Series 2002.
Big
Show. Gave Reigns the belt and readjusted his suit. And you know that he's back with his tribal chief, Roman Reigns. I absolutely love that.
Reigns clocks Lesnar over the head with the WWE Championship. He even looks at the WWE Championship, laughs and tosses it on the ground and walks out the arena with Paul Heyman by his side, as you said. Bobby Lashley crawls over to Lesnar, new referee in, pins Lesnar 1, 2, 3. He's the WWE champion. Now, firstly, I don't feel like this is the match that I signed up for. This wasn't it. I expected a lot more. I feel like I was sold a lot more. And especially from the video package, like I said, they kind of positioned these guys as equals. The match didn't say that. Now, like you said, if Brock Lesnar should be given more than Lashley, then why did you position them as equals in the video?
I agree with the video packaging misleading that we thought we were going to get like a back and forth between these two. I get what you're saying.
However,
chances are in the WWE mind, though, that they gave Lesnar more knowing what the end result was going to be. I don't know. You just got to think like with the WWE hat, which is an incredibly difficult thing to do. But just like the way they like to book things is everybody has to fucking be strong. Like they are so determined and resolute with that it's like all of their booking focuses on, okay, Lesnar coming out of this. I mean, we know what Lesnar's going to do, staying strong. It's the same show. But in this instance, I feel like when Lashley got that one German, like proper popped. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
But then the rest of the match, you're like, oh.
To be fair, yeah, because there's some inconsistencies with that booking as well. Because obviously you had like when Goldberg came out, he beat Lesnar in like 8 seconds or whatever that nonsense, right? So yes, of course, Lashley should have been booked stronger, definitely, because when you look at certain things they've done. But I do feel like Lesnar should be the stronger out of the two because of his track record. And
I just think they should have been equally yoked. He shouldn't have. Lesnar he doesn't need to be stronger than Lashley. Lashley needs to be stronger than Lesnar. That's what it's building up to be. Maybe not this year, but that's what the build. Almost just at some point to have like an almost like maybe he is stronger, maybe he isn't. Like have a little bit of, do you know what I mean? Instead of just letting Lesnar run wild all over him.
In the 5-way at day one, they gave enough moments where you believe that Lashley could have a go at Lesnar, right?
That's true. Because Lashley was booked strong on the day one match, wasn't he?
He was. And when you actually look, like, just more to your point, Skillet, of like Lesnar's track record, it's so difficult to judge, like, on that merit of what you're saying there. Like, okay, Goldberg did this, so somebody should do that. When you think Lesnar should have a barn burner with someone, like 9 times out of 10, it don't happen, right? Like, I was really excited for Lesnar and Drew at WrestleMania, and what we got was just a finisher fest. Cheers, let's go home, right? Which, and again, in WWE's eyes, they're like, Drew McIntyre kicked out of however many F5s. He ran through Brock Lesnar. But us as fans who actually want to see, like, you know, an engrossing match and story, you don't get that payoff. And that was what would have done Drew better than kicking out of 3 F5s, in my opinion.
I agree.
And then you look at what Lesnar did with an AJ Styles, or Finn Balor, Danielson. Like, he can do it, but these kind of big-time matchups sometimes, I half expected that because this wasn't the original plan, we weren't going to get the, like, all-timer that Lashley and Lesnar were capable of. But I don't know.
I hope this is not the only time we see these two lock horns.
That's what I fear.
The positive side of this is when you look back in history, who was the victor with Bobby Lashley? So I think that's the positive.
He'll take it. Yeah.
That's the positive. That's the only thing we can take, really. What was the next match, Max?
Oh, wait. But
go on.
Can we just say about Roman Reigns? He is really just coming into his character.
Yeah, he is.
Did you see the look? I was like, he's really engrossed in it. I loved it.
I popped hard for the exchange between Roman and Heyman. I was like, Heyman the double agent. I thought it was good. Even though, like, people came to me on Twitter, they were like, oh, you couldn't see that coming. But the way they did it, it wasn't so much that I couldn't anticipate there'd be a twist. It's just the way it was done so subtly from Roman and man, I loved it.
It was amazing. And then Heyman praying next to him. Together. I love that.
He's such a worm, isn't he? I love it.
You said Lashley was going to win, didn't you? Say, yeah.
I did.
All right.
Tay, you need to start putting some money down. That's what you need.
I really did. I might have won a lot of stuff.
You definitely would have won some money at Royal Rumble for sure.
I would have.
What was the next match, Max?
So the match after this was the It couple versus the Grit couple. Miz and Maurice versus Edge and Beth Phoenix. I think this was a pretty, again, it was off the back of, you know, all the action that happened in the match before, I guess. So to calm people down as well before the men's Rumble. I think it was a pretty decent match. Good to see Beth Phoenix back in the ring. Maurice as well held her own. Obviously, we saw Miz and Edge go against each other at the day one pay-per-view. So, Beth Phoenix, Edge got the win with a couple of glamazon slams. And I think this should be finished at this point. Edge has beaten Miz twice now. I expect Edge to possibly move into some type of, you know, WrestleMania-based feud soon. But it's a good standard match.
This match was better than I thought it would be. And Maurice did really good. Miz did. You know, I remember there's one point because I had my boy Paul and Tay was round, right? And I remember them being very quiet at one point when Maurice was dominating Beth, and then Miz hit the Skull Crusher finale on Edge. And I was shouting at the TV. I was saying, "That's it. great booking. That's it. 1, 2, 3. They're gonna win. This is great. And I just noticed Tay and Paul were just like quiet, looking at me like, "Do you actually think they're gonna win?" Yeah, man. This is what I'm talking about. Right decision. This is the right. And then Edge kicked out. I was like, "For fuck's sake."
Bruv, I'll say in that Miz needs a new finisher because I don't know the last person he put away with that skull crushing finale.
It's true. Very true.
Once Miz didn't beat him there, I was like, cool, it's all sewn up then, isn't it? Like, if he didn't beat him there, it weren't going to happen, man. But like,
exactly, 100%.
I just echo what you say. I felt Maurice way exceeded my personal expectations of her in that match. It was, again, the match was fun for what it was, and more Beth Phoenix, man. I'd love to see her mix up with some of today's ladies properly, like a run. But there you go.
I agree. I feel like I never really understood. I've always respected Beth Phoenix, and I can always see that she was a great wrestler, but she never had a run, in my opinion, that was like epic. I know she was when she was the Glamour.
She was in the wrong era. That was her problem. In the wrong era.
Completely.
She should have been in TNA when they were doing the knockout stuff. And because the wrestlers that she was wrestling with was not up to level with Beth. I know she was dominating as a champion at some point, but it just wasn't a good thing for her. So when she got Hall of Fame, I was a bit like, really? But you know, but big up her for bigging up Luna Vachon with her vein makeup, the veins on her face. You know, I love that little tribute to Luna Vachon. But yeah, I would like to see Beth Phoenix come back and do some more work for sure.
I agree with Tate there. Like I feel like Beth, I mean, like, what great rivals did she have in her era, really? Right? Like, even China, like, China's like a goat because she's a trailblazer, right? But, like, we're not sitting here talking about her body of work, really, are we?
No,
like,
but China is different because China.
Yeah, she had a palpable impact in other ways, yes.
Yeah, trailblazer, DX, you know what I'm saying?
But I do feel like Beth Phoenix is in that realm. You know, she was like a men's Rumble entrant. You know, like, she brought a lot more to the table than perhaps, I don't know, Meltzer starred matches. But I do believe in this day and age, she could actually have a great kind of end to her legacy.
Yes, well, I agree. And I feel like it would just solidify her worthiness of becoming a Hall of Famer. That's all I'm saying. I just didn't think she did enough to become a Hall of Famer. And I think like if she has another run now I could be like, yeah, she deserves Hall of Fame. We talking about the men's match now?
Yeah. So last but not least, in the main event slot, the men's Royal Rumble opened up by AJ Styles. So immediately thought, okay, that's the Iron Man there. Number 2 that came out was Nakamura. So I think where I was, everyone popped. You know, their history, Wrestle Kingdom 10. Obviously, they've had a WrestleMania match before as well. It just made me think that Nakamura is nowhere near where he needs to be. But here we are. Some good exchanges from those two. Then we had Vince McMahon's pet, Austin Theory, enter. Robert Roode entered, and we got a little standoff between him and AJ Styles and chants of TNA in the arena. Other names later on down the line, Montez Ford, he got a pop when he entered as well. I think people kind of looking forward to a Montez Ford singles push whenever that comes.
2022, I predicted it. It's going to come this year. I'm telling you, Montez Ford solo push this year.
Let's see. Damien Priest entered. I thought he would have a better showing than he did because he had a pretty good showing last year, eliminated Kane as well, who's like the godfather of Royal Rumbles at this point. Sami Zayn entered, and then of course we got Johnny Knoxville from Jackass entering. He had all his Jackass mates kind of escort him out as well. He came in, didn't mess about, chopped straight to AJ Styles. And
stiff.
Yeah, stiff as hell. And then all the other wrestlers thought, bun this guy. And you know, AJ Styles laid it into him. I remember
Montez did a frog splash.
Montez Ford did a frog splash. There was someone else, and then Sami Zayn gave the haluva kick straight out the Rumble. Then
the AJ clothesline was a real clothesline. He was like, "You're going down. You are going down, mate."
He took him out, man.
Yeah, and then I think straight after that, AJ eliminated Sami Zayn from the Rumble.
Sorry to cut you, man. It's a bit of a geek moment. That segment, the Johnny Knoxville segment, reminded me of that epic story about Vince McMahon in a nightclub, and he was taking all the finishes from all the wrestlers.
Yeah.
You know, the Zoom, the Heart Foundation, and it was like it just reminded me of that.
Might have been the inspiration. You never know.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was Vince. That's what happened.
We saw Angelo Dawkins enter, and they put Montez Ford's Titron and stuff. So clearly they either don't know the difference. Yeah, he just didn't get his own entrance.
He's already out the door.
Yeah.
They better not Tucker Dawkins.
They are.
Yeah, they slowly are, but
no, but Dawkins is good though. He actually,
I like him.
Yeah.
I like him, but it's just one of them where he's next to someone who's like scream star. That's the problem.
I feel like he could probably survive the storm though. Like he could probably do a Matt Hardy and a Christian.
He could pivot.
He could probably pivot and make a little lane for himself that way instead of being like a Marty Jannetty. You get what I'm trying to say? I think he could actually become a Christian or Matt Hardy, where Jeff and Edge was the stars. I think Montez will obviously be the star, but you never know. Wrestling is so weird that you actually never know. Like something could be very bright for Dawkins that none of us would ever call, and you could never really call these things, to be honest. But to be honest, it's gonna be Montez Ford.
Having said that,
let's be honest here. Anyway, back to you, man.
And then we saw Omos enter. Of course, they gave him all the camera angles, made him look massive. He went into the ring, cleared house for a bit, and by no mistake,
I'm done. Sorry, I'm done. I'm done.
Huh?
I'm done.
Not a fan.
Done with Omos. See when Omos was at that WrestleMania match with AJ Styles and they become tag team champions, I was like, they actually might have something here. This is a big man that he can't talk, but he has some sort of form of charisma that could probably elevate him into what Vince wants. But ever since then, he's just gone worse and worse. And then he did nothing at this Royal Rumble. Nothing. There's no need for him to be in it. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm
done. They purposely, I say, put in Ricochet and Chad Gable after Omos to obviously accentuate that how big he is, one, and that these two guys can't take him out. Dominic Mysterio entered the Rumble. We saw Corbin, Ziggler, Sheamus. I think this is where the Rumble became a bit painful for most people because these are guys that we just see on a week-to-week basis. There was, with the women's...
I respect those guys, but that's a terrible lineup right there. That's a bad, not exciting stretch of a Rumble.
That's exactly it. And this is the thing, we watch these matches. Sheamus has been brilliant over the last year, especially. But when you see these guys on a weekly basis just come out one after another, literally like they're coming out on SmackDown or Raw. Yeah, the women's Rumble, they're not gonna win.
Simple, they ain't gonna win.
They're literally just fillers. Like you could have had at least one legend or something just in the middle.
The women's Rumble had a good mix of bringing out the current day with the legends and surprises that aren't even on the roster. And the men's, it was literally just reeling off names as if it was a register for SmackDown.
Because if they ain't going to win, like you just said, right? Like you just put it perfectly, Max. If they ain't going to win, then they're going to give you something, right? Like value from a legend or man, give me something. That's just a string of blokes that ain't doing nothing. You know it.
A string of blokes. It's a string of blokes.
I can imagine Vince just telling the producer, send out the string of blokes.
you know they are. Get
out there. Right, though. You guys are spot on. Like it's just and I think we all felt deflated because it's like it's one after another, and we're like, there was no surprises. There's nothing exciting.
We were getting to those deep 20s, and it was like, who we got left?
Exactly.
So
at this point, Skillet fell asleep. He was like, I'm done.
I passed out.
You can't be blamed for that.
I passed out, and I woke back up around the 24th entrance, and I noticed. I was like, where's AJ Styles?
I was just getting onto that. Yeah, obviously, after being the Iron Man, Madcap Moss, the last of the string of blokes, eliminates AJ Styles, and a lot of people where I were, lost their rag, literally, because it's like, why him of all people after all the hard work AJ Styles has done? Furthermore, they're not even on the same show, so like this can't even really be, followed up. It really made no sense.
My angle was yet to come, but we'll get there.
I think I know what it is, Alex. But yeah, go ahead.
All right, stop me if I miss it. But yeah, we're into the last 20, the last 10. Sorry, Riddle, Drew McIntyre, who was rumored to be injured, so it was great to see Drew McIntyre enter, and he took out Corbin and Madcap Moss to continue their story. Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio. So the name value kind of went up in these last 10. Kofi Kingston at 24. I mean, heartbreaking stuff. And this is when I knew this Rumble was done out. Like, this ain't it.
Oh, it's so true.
But when Kofi Kingston enters the Royal Rumble and fails to pull off the Kofi Kingston spot, the cameras caught him. He tried to defend it. I think the referee was a bit on the fence, but must have had Vince or whomsoever in the ear, like saying, "Nah, the cameras caught it." Like, because the
ref at first was like, "No."
Yeah.
Wow. Like, fuck it, change
they
it.
They could have just said it was 1 foot, though. Surely they could have just been
They
played the replay. They played the replay of TV.
Like, this is not football. Why did we do this?
No,
you didn't need to do that.
Kevin Dunn should have just been like, just roll it. We make
Exactly what I mean.
Keep going.
Literally.
Keep going.
Yeah. You know what it is? I just feel like they're just so scared of, like, with Twitter, like, they probably thought if they said, no, he's fine, and somebody would have got some sort of camera phone angle and proven that Kofi's feet both touched the floor. And you know what I mean?
But it's worse. It's worse that we know he botched. I think that's worse because that's the story now. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather them try and fool us and like there's like hardly any evidence than we all know what was supposed to happen and it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
And it's Kofi. Like, who's going to be mad? Who's going to be mad if they said, you know what, he made it?
And he wasn't going to win. We know he wasn't going to win.
That's the point.
Win.
So Skillet, you're right in the sense that other cameras would have maybe caught it, personal cameras and stuff. But the fact is, he wasn't going to win anyway. So as long as WWE don't replay it, they could have got away with it. But it's like
cut the lights
out.
out.
Storyline afterwards, like someone to come and be like, "No, your foot touched the floor," and then he can be like, "No, I didn't," and then they start a feud. Like, it would have been.
No, on Friday Night SmackDown, someone needs to mock him about that.
100%.
Someone needs to joke.
What do we think the spot was though?
He was gonna jump up the barricade.
Yeah. Then what?
Then walk the barricade, right? Then lean back into the crowd surf all the way back.
Adam Rose.
Climb up a barrier, jump into the rafters. Jump down. SOS. No, actually, I don't know. I think he's gonna hang onto the barrier like a cat.
I'm sure he's done that one before.
No, he was gonna do that. He was probably gonna make the referee go down on all fours, and he used his referee the jump on the referee's back like in Super Mario. And jump on the referee's back to get into the ring. He's probably gonna do something stupid like that.
The initial part of the spot that he tried, which he landed on the floor, he's done before, and I don't like it because he lands on that barrier so hard. Like,
Bret Hart would be proud.
This what he had, he had way too much momentum coming down. Way too much.
So unfortunate exit for Kofi. We saw Otis enter Big E, which he looked pissed when he entered. So I thought maybe him and Kofi might have had a spot planned or something. And now
they probably had loads of spots planned.
Yeah, but now Kofi's out, so they can't run none of it. And Big E's inclusion in the Rumble was next to none. Like, it still blows my mind. This guy was WWE champion like 3 weeks ago.
I'm fuming. He was in for like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Guy was WWE champion like 4 weeks ago. 6 minutes he was in the Rumble. He got tossed out like a string of other blokes did when Riddle and Orton were getting rid of him.
Yeah.
Right? Like it wasn't a big deal they just got rid of someone who was a WWE champion. You know what I mean? It was just like, oh, Big E's gone as well. I thought, nah, that's rubbish. That is rubbish.
Is that the moment you were pissed about, Alex?
No,
I know what you're pissed about. I know what you're pissed about.
All right. I don't know, so you're definitely gonna have to stop me. But all right, Big E. Then we had Bad Bunny come in, and he was kind of giving it all. Really, he went on a really good run. We saw Canadian Destroyer on Riddle.
It's sad, isn't it? It's sad when Bad Bunny is booked better in a Royal Rumble match to the former WWE champion.
Yeah.
It is.
Happened 3 weeks ago.
Bad day.
It's not
What
good.
is going on, man?
It's not good. We saw Shane McMahon enter at 28. Big pop. Seems like it
That's
was
what Alex is
somewhat.
pissed about.
No, I'm gonna let him go off there. If that's it, we'll let him go off. But it seemed pretty. It seemed pretty self-serving. It seemed pretty self-serving, especially I think since the weekend, it's come out that Shane was the one that booked the Rumble.
No,
So,
I don't know.
Okay.
Mate, listen.
That makes all the sense.
Listen.
Can we open the floor for Alex, please? I think Alex.
Go on, Alex. Go through.
First of all, I don't know if Shane did book the Rumble. That's ringside news. I would take that with a pinch of salt. Fightful put the producers of the Rumble on, and he wasn't involved anywhere. Shane was involved in the 2020 Rumble, but he was working in the company full time, so maybe. I'm not mad at Shane for being in the Rumble. I'm fucking mad that he chucked out Kevin Owens of all people. Kevin Owens is getting chucked out by Shane McMahon. The bloke's like 55 and shit. Stop it. Stop it. Kevin Owens had a legit claim to win the Rumble, right?
He did.
Somebody left. I was like, you know what? Cool. Kevin Owens and somebody thought the guy's just re-signed. Well, thanks for re-signing, boy, because my son is kicking you out. What is that? It is such a bad decision. They could have done a million things, but they actually went, well, in their little WWE minds, they said, well, Kevin Owens beat Shane to make him leave WWE. So guess what? Shane gets to come back and boot his Canadian art out. It's rubbish, and I hated it. I nearly turned the TV off. I was furious.
And also, and you're absolutely right, Alex. And it's like the fact that Shane eliminated Kevin Owens. I was thinking to myself, I remember Kevin Owens and Shane had a WrestleMania feud back in 2018.
They did the tag 2018
tag match,
with Sammy and Daniel Bryan. And they had Hell in a Cell as well.
It just reminded me of that year, and I was thinking, what, are we going back to this again? I know we're probably not, but it was just like nothing's changed. It just made me feel like, Kevin, why the hell did you sign? Re-sign to WWE? Because it sounds like you're in the same spot as you were 3 years ago.
He could have done with the Rumble. Nobody can say.
He should have won the Rumble.
He could have done with it. Like, out of all the people, like the men's Rumble this year was a weird field because, like, you already know that Roman and Brock is sewn up, right? So basically, it's whoever's going to face whoever the WWE champion is. If you look at that field, really, to me, it was like Big E or Kevin Owens are the two obvious names that I would have gone with.
Yeah.
And neither of them got any kind of justice. Neither. So.
Guys, do you remember when Kevin Owens first signed to WWE, NXT, and he was very much the Kevin Steen character? And he
World class.
And then he came and debuted against Cena, and the crowd was going, "Remember that? Yeah, good times."
He beat Cena, innit?
Yeah, he beat Cena.
Open challenge,
One of the best matches. One of the best matches Cena's ever had. That was like one of a great match.
Feels like TV was in black and white back then, man. Feels like
just to finish this Rumble, we saw Randy Orton, hometown boy, big pop. Him and Riddle, cleared up the place. Couple RKOs, but he was more or less eliminated unceremoniously. Brock Lesnar.
Can we give a shout to Riddle's RKO though?
That was nice.
That was amazing. Sorry, I had to pick that up. Yeah, anyway.
Definitely. And number 30, Brock Lesnar, who came out not selling any injuries at all. Just walked down to the ring like he never had a match earlier on. Like he
didn't even look angry. He wasn't angry. The commentator's like, he is mad. He was just like,
yeah, literally just came for what was, I guess, promised to him. There was no story of how he's got into the Rumble or anything like that.
None.
Like we've seen this so many times. I was saying on Twitter, like he could have easily just beat, like it could have been Drew Gulak. And he just beats up Drew Gulak on the entrance way. Adam Pearce comes out. Him and Adam Pearce have had previous in the last few weeks. He just does this to Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce folds. Yeah, you enter the Rumble. And that's it. You're just throwing it up nicely. But he just walked out, like I say. And again, if they put Lashley over a bit more in their match, he could have at least come out holding himself or something. This Lesnar walked out like this is the first time he walked out of the arena all night. Walked into the ring, done what Lesnar does, eliminates these guys, just throwing bodies over the top rope. Last two was himself and Drew. Nice callback to, obviously Drew eliminated him in 2020 and Drew beat him for the WWE Championship at that year's WrestleMania. So yeah, F5 to Drew. Go on, Alex. Sorry.
The last 5 blokes in the match with Lesnar, right? So you said Drew, Riddle, and Orton, Shane,
Final 4, Shane,
Bad Bunny.
Yeah, I know. That was the last 4, wasn't it?
That's the last 5 that Lesnar had to get rid of. Was Shane and Bad Bunny were in there. Like, apart from Riddle and I guess Drew, because he's got the story with Brock, like, and Randy for the star power. But like, man, if you could have created a final 4, would any of them been in it? Really? Like, it's just there's no foresight at all, man.
Yeah, it was.
I have to say, Tay did call this as well. She said Lesnar will lose the title to Lashley, and then come into the Royal Rumble and win. So
Tay, I'm buying a lottery ticket this week. Can you
help us out?
Yeah, big up, Tay. You got a lot of good predictions.
In denial, he's like, he is not coming out. I was like, I am telling you, he is coming out.
I think what popped me most with this, with Lesnar winning, which I think, we all probably saw that was going to happen, was Lesnar's never had to point at a WrestleMania sign before. And Lesnar pointed at this WrestleMania sign with both hands.
Is that the
he literally went like this. Like, see if you can see it back. But yeah, Lesnar wins the Rumble. So yeah, that was the Royal Rumble, the men's.
I would have loved it if Lesnar did come out number 30 and the Bloodline attacked him on the way to the ring.
That'd have been dope.
That's what they should have done, man.
Even like Alex is saying, in terms of choice for the final 4. Remember, we didn't see Finn Balor, we didn't see Cesaro in this, we didn't see the Usos on this pay-per-view at all. Like, have Jey Uso, the right-hand man, part of the final 4, defending, his cousin's honor. You're not getting to my cousin. I feel you're trying. Yeah, like, just none of that. None of that could have all played in. Nothing.
Who would do, like, it's in a world where they don't need the Rumble for Rousey to get to a world title or Reigns, or Lesnar. I can understand Rousey half because she's just returned to the company, but Lesnar, no. Like, who would, like, Ace? Who would you have had win it, man?
I think KO, man. I think KO definitely deserves it, or Big E. I don't know. I wasn't really. I don't know. I've been quite outspoken and said that I didn't feel like Big E was really working as the WWE champion, in my opinion. But I think KO has a lot to offer. I think KO would have been the right choice, in my opinion.
KO
hasn't been a world champion 5 years, man.
Yeah.
It's a disgrace.
Yeah, I think Kevin Owens re-signing. They should have strapped a new rocket to him and do a lot with him this year. So I would have loved it if it was Kevin Owens. I don't know if I wanted to see Big E win the Rumble because he just had the title. So I probably would have liked Big E to have a good showing at the Rumble, be dominant but not win it. I wouldn't even mind Riddle. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't want to see Riddle versus Orton at WrestleMania. I mean, that's gonna happen anyway. But I don't want to see that for a world title. But I don't know. I just feel like Riddle could be a future star. He could definitely be a star. So yeah, maybe given to somebody that's like, you would never expect to win would have been a good shout this year. But no, Tay was right. It was Lesnar all over.
Bron Breakker out of nowhere.
That would have been
good.
Who?
Bron Breakker.
Yeah, exactly. Or would have been great? Nicholas, the former tag team champion of that would have been great.
Don't you go from Nicholas? Don't you go from Bron Breakker to Nicholas in the same breath? Tay, what would you have had? Tay, out of interest.
I probably wanted AJ as well.
Yeah, AJ.
The way the card looked, it was just so obvious that it was Lesnar.
Yeah.
Do we think AJ's getting an edge? AJ getting an edge at Mania? They're talking about it, isn't they?
I don't want to see it. Like, I'm not the biggest Edge fan. Yeah. I respect him completely. He's great on the mic and he sells a story, but I'm just not the greatest Edge fan, and I just don't know. Like, I think they're saying this is like the last dream match, but whose dream match is this?
AJ's, I think.
Oh,
It probably is
not mine.
AJ's. He did an interview the other day with DAZN where he was saying it's the last legend he wants is Edge. Apparently, he wanted Triple H, but obviously that can't happen now. So it's like Edge is that guy. You didn't enjoy what Edge did with Rollins?
I did. I enjoyed all the Rollins stuff. I enjoyed the WrestleMania match with Danielson and Roman. Like those big occasions, but like
you enjoy the greatest wrestling match of all time.
Ever. That was a good match. It maybe was a bit long, but that was a good match.
The title.
Hey guys, where's Finn Balor?
Wow.
What's going on
in the Rumble?
He was in the Rumble. Oh,
no.
Neither was Cesaro.
But has he been on TV since his match with Reigns?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, with Austin.
He was on TV. He was last on TV 2 weeks ago. Austin Theory beat him. Before that, he wasn't on TV for about 3 weeks, and then before that, he had beaten Austin Theory. But yeah, it's very.
I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's in Ireland.
Yeah, he's not about right now.
He's not there. He's back home.
Right.
Would you have minded if they did what they did with Lesnar, but did it with Seth? If Seth came back to get that extra match with Reigns, and Seth came and won the Rumble at the end, would that have been a better ending?
I still would have liked him to have explained how he got the spot. You know what I mean? Like something. But still, I think that would have made more sense. Like Lesnar's already got a built-in excuse to go after Reigns. Doesn't need to win a Rumble to get to him, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Rollins, like that was his last opportunity, almost slipped away.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a babyface moment. Is the only thing, I guess, and it goes back to what we were saying earlier. Like, is he turning or not? I don't know. I would have liked it, but then
that'd be good if he convinces KO to let him have his spot. But then we kind of
there you go. That's good.
Like, look, please, man, I need this.
I agree with what Tay said earlier, though. Like, we were all like convinced, right? It's Reigns or Lesnar. Like everyone was saying that on Twitter the day before. Like it was so predictable. I don't think anybody was actually thinking it would probably be Rollins or the other scenario would be Lashley. I guess. Like I don't think anyone was thinking that. Would have been good.
Have you guys seen that they've announced the Elimination Chamber match that Lashley's defended the WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber in Saudi in February?
That might be a short reign.
Oh, okay.
Right. Like it's like why are they putting him in a multi-man match as soon as like smells of an L?
Chamber. Wow. Okay.
Raw is
Rollins then.
Maybe.
I think Raw. Maybe. I mean, like Raw has got a lot of guys. If you want to stack that chamber up, AJ, Edge, Rollins. If you want to put Big E in, like
KO,
you could make it. Well, KO doesn't go to Saudi, but you could make it.
Oh, okay.
Really stacked if you wanted to. I think depends what they do, though, innit? Because they already concentrate on putting big matches in Saudi as is. So I don't know.
We'll see.
Well, okay. So I guess this is the time where we rank the pay-per-view itself. So we're going to go across the room, and out of 5, I want to hear all your opinions on how good you rate it. We'll start off with Alex McCarthy.
The ending left like a sour taste. I just felt flat, right? Like, well, I wasn't as pumped for it as WWE probably imagined I would be. Not that that's how they gauge a successful show. I don't want to be too harsh, but like 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Or a 2. That's what I'm thinking. That's that ballpark.
2.5 out of 5 from Alex. Mex.
I said 3. When you asked the question, I said 3 in myself, and I said 3 is definitely generous. Yeah, I think I'm 2.53.
Tay.
2.25. Just.
She's
I'm
creeping down.
To give 2. I'll be honest. I'm struggling to give it more than 2. I liked Lesnar versus Lashley. I liked Roman, but literally the whole pay-per-view was around them 2 and Rousey, and that's it.
Yeah. Ace?
I'm gonna say 2, man. You gotta think about it, like this is probably one of the worst Rumbles we've ever seen.
I agree.
Apart from 2016, because I watched that back and that was terrible.
That was terrible. But like we've seen so many Rumbles, like I feel like obviously we're not bookers and we're not like in the company. But I feel like it's a hard event to get wrong. Like there's so many amazing things you can do with it. Like, and even if one match is shit, the next match can be so good that you forget about the bad things that happen. And this was just back to back disappointment.
I would say, I think I'm with Alex, 2.5. I'm not gonna say 2. I think 2 is a bit harsh. 3 is very generous. So I'm in the middle. I think 2.5. I'm not gonna take too much of everybody's time because we're gonna wrap up soon. But I've got like a list of 10 questions, Royal Rumble trivia, and whoever says the answer first, we'll just do that instead of going around and whatever. So this person has been eliminated by Shawn Michaels in the year of 2006, 2007, and 2008. Who is this wrestler? I'll put a little stop clock as well.
I have no idea.
Triple H.
No, Ace. Hey?
Carlito.
Woo. Around that era, but not Carlito. No. Not Carlito.
MVP.
I was about to say MVP.
No. Tay?
No idea.
Elton Benjamin.
Come on.
Makes sense.
Who was the youngest Royal Rumble winner?
Randy Orton.
Lesnar.
At the age of when they won it, though.
Lesnar.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar. Well done. That's 1 point to Alex. What do I have here? The longest Royal Rumble participant who hasn't won the Royal Rumble.
Oh,
probably Kane.
Ziggler? Isn't it Ziggler? No, Kane. Oh shit, yeah.
It's not Kane.
I think.
Not Kane.
Is Ziggler?
Not Kane.
Is it Ziggler? No.
It's not Ziggler.
That the longest participant in the Rumble that hasn't won it.
The longest time spent in the Rumble, but didn't end up winning it. So this guy had lasted over 61
Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Have they won the Rumble before?
No, they've never won the Rumble ever.
Oh, okay.
It's not Chris Jericho.
Is it I was going to say it's AJ or Jericho, but I don't know.
Daniel Bryan? No.
Nah. Bob Backlund.
No, it's...
Okay. Get out of here.
Was I alive, bro?
What year was the longest Royal Rumble match?
The one with 40 people in it.
The Saudi one.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
No.
It's got to be the 40-man one. No?
It actually might, because it depends on when I've researched this, to be honest. But, this one is nearly 70 minutes.
It's not the Saudi one.
No. From my research here, it's 2002, the one that Triple H won.
Oh, wow.
And it was nearly 70 minutes.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Oh, wow.
Shortest time spent by a previous Royal Rumble winner.
Oh.
So actually, let me rephrase that. So the guy won the Rumble, but he didn't spend long in the Rumble.
Lesnar.
Oh, okay.
Brock Lesnar.
At that time.
Not Brock Lesnar. So the time is this guy was in the ring for 7 minutes and he won the Royal Rumble.
Cena.
Surely Lesnar wasn't in for 7 minutes this year. Surely.
That's true. So you guys are probably right, because technically Lesnar probably would have beaten that record. But
before that,
who was that?
Triple H.
No.
Batista.
Just for the record, Lesnar was in for 2 minutes 32.
Lesnar beat that time for sure.
But
so the previous holder.
It's got to be a number. I'm trying to think who's coming from 30 and won it.
Yeah.
I'm struggling.
Austin? No, can't be Austin.
The Rock.
In 2000, he was in it for a while, I think.
Cena came 30 in 2018.
Benoit was in it forever. Is it Taker in 09? No, was that Taker?
No, I'm gonna answer it now, guys. Sorry, it was Edge.
Oh wow!
Edge in 2010.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
fuck's sake!
This is an easy one. Most eliminations in a single match.
Kane.
Lesnar.
Kane. Yeah, it's
Kane. Kane has more than Lesnar.
Yeah, he had about 11. He had 11 in 2001, right?
Kane had like 16 the other year.
Did
Strowman the one with Drew. The one with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, he had loads, bro.
Didn't he eliminate everyone before Drew came in?
Yeah.
Like 16.
Well,
It was a lot of man.
Drew came in number 16.
It was at least 14 man got tossed over.
Yeah. In like 13 or 14 he got rid of, I think.
I'm going to type in Brock Lesnar 2002 Royal Rumble record, yeah? I don't know. I think he did have a lot, but I don't know.
No. 2020, isn't it? When he starts it.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I meant. So what did I say? I said 2012, didn't I? Sorry.
Yeah,
But what did you say the answer is? Kane with 11.
11, isn't it?
No,
I swear Roman beat that. Roman beat that first.
Oh, no, you guys are absolutely right. Lesnar had 13. So I'm totally wrong here.
Fugazi quiz.
What do I know? And lastly, who won the most Royal Rumble matches?
Austin.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. That was terrible. But anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us, my friend. This is long overdue. You're always welcome to come back on the KickOut and kick it with us. For people who really enjoyed your takes today and your knowledge and your wisdom and they want to know more about you, where can they follow you?
Yeah, man. AlexM_TalkSport is where you can hit me on Twitter and Instagram. But Talk Wrestling Podcast, of course, is TalkSport's wrestling show. And yeah, talksport.com/wrestling is where you'll find my interviews on a weekly basis. So yeah, if you like your graps, come get it. And thank you very much, guys. I really enjoyed being with you. Whenever you feel like giving me a shout again, hit me up.
Definitely will. And actually, Alex, some people that I know are going to be throwing a at New Jack Swing Party soon.
Oh!
So I will holler at you about that. Ace, you should come join us, bro.
I'm definitely coming.
Yeah.
Ace, you don't even know. You don't even know about what I'm doing.
Really? I'm there. I'm coming. I want to see this.
Alex and I, when I was on Alex's show, we were both singing Guy. Groove me.
Teddy Riley knows.
No, bro,
That's wicked. That's awesome.
And you guys looking forward to Raw tonight? I don't know if I'm going to watch it or not, but I don't know.
I want to see the fallout. I do. I want to see the fallout of what went down on Sunday.
Ronda's going to be on, so that should be.
Yeah, true.
Ronda and Brock, apparently.
Do you not think Ronda's going to show up every week, or is it just going to be like once every month until
A couple times.
No.
A couple times. To be honest, she's won the Rumble, so she doesn't need to show up until WrestleMania, really. But
no matches every week, not a match every week. No.
Nah.
She's not having any match.
You ain't getting Ronda Bianca Belair, no? No, we're not getting that. We're not getting Liv Morgan.
She was tired after 5 minutes, bro. She just come back from having a baby, so I think she just needs to work on her weight, her shape to get back to the fitness that she needs to be back into, and she'll have that one-off match. And then
can I just say the fact that she's on Raw even more cements that it's going to be Becky? Surely, like why is she on Raw and not SmackDown?
She's on Raw tonight because they need the ratings.
We'll see.
That's why. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
And another question: do you think they're going to address the Kofi botch?
No chance.
Never.
They're gonna keep that quiet.
Kofi might even get punished and not be on TV for the next 2 weeks.
But you know what New Day's like. New Day loves to make these in jokes. Surely there's going to be some sort of promo with Xavier and Kofi talking about having 2 feet on the ground.
They're saying that Big E's moved over to SmackDown now.
Yeah.
Quietly.
Wow.
He said it on SmackDown last week.
Officially, Taylor said, the newest member of SmackDown, Big E. That just shows you how terrible that is for him. Like, you're the champ, but we got nothing for you, mate. So lose the belt, off you go. Like,
this is madness, bro. It's crazy.
Terrible.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, guys. We always listen to the KickOut podcast. Whoever listens to us every week, thank you so much. And we'll be back with some more episodes leading up to WrestleMania. So we are out. Stay tuned.